get in their head, how to speak so your audience listens. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm the Director of Marketing at IdeaPros, and I have a special guest for you today. I have Kai Alday, who is a business coach with Move to CEO. And this is actually, it's a little unfair because Kai and I get to work together all the time. So I get this knowledge from Kai
I get the marketing from Tessa.
every single day. I get to do this, go into marketing and talk about how to make your business profitable and getting in touch with your audience. But today I'm borrowing Kai so that you guys can actually dive deeper into your target audience and learn a little bit more about how to really get in the head of your target audience. Last 2 weeks ago, we did an episode about how to look at the audience, the demographics, and really fine tune that person. If you remember my little Play-Doh guy, and we were taking away parts that we didn't think were resonating or were not a good fit for us. But now we're actually looking at more of their what's going on in their mind. So, and Kai, can you kind of give us, like, lay the foundation for us? Because I know we even introduce you and your background because they don't know how awesome you are. Like,
That's a lot of pressure right there. So first, hi everybody. I can see the chat going, and so I just want to say hi to y'all. I see Katie in there, Vanessa, Mary, Genetic Joy, Kelly.
yes, Dr. Clarice.
Oh, I like it. Okay, Dr. Clarice. Okay, I was like, is that the name? Well, I just want to say hi to you guys and thank you guys for joining us and joining me because this is not something I get to do all the time. So this is exciting for me. So I am a business strategist and coach, and I really started my career in nonprofit, and I was there for almost a decade, and then I went into corporate, and then I come from a family of entrepreneurs, which is the reason I avoided being an entrepreneur for so long because I saw how difficult it was. And then while I was in corporate, climbing the ladder, trying to grasp onto every rung, I realized that it was just as hard. It was just a different kind of hard. And I told myself, you know what, if I go into entrepreneurship, I'm going to do it differently. And I tried to do it differently. But here's the thing is, I, worked in a really huge corporate, for a huge corporation. And while there, I learned so much about, business, how to read your, what KPIs are, how to read your profits and losses and your spreadsheets and blah, 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 all these things, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and be a business coach and it's going to be great. And then I realized during my journey is that I was great at running a business and it was not the same thing as building a business. So I had to learn a whole nother set of skills. And now that's where we've come to today is I've figured all of that out and I've gone through the struggle that I said, oh, I'm not going to do it that way. And I went that way. And then I realized, okay, there is a better way to do this. And so now here we are, and I get to share some of that knowledge with you all today. So hopefully that was a
yes, that's great. Well, and both Kai and I, we're entrepreneurs first in our business, and then our specialties of coaching and strategy and marketing and everything. But we own our own businesses just like you guys do, because I know that's everyone here. But this is what Kai explains on this the target audience and how to really get in their head. It really did it made a different story for me. It really changed the way that I talk to my audience when she describes it. And this is, we're going to share a worksheet with you guys that I promised last week, but I wanted to also bring in the big guns for you to explain it. And it is a Muse worksheet. We call Muse, that's the target audience for us, or an ICA, or your persona, all the same, basically. But this is a special worksheet that actually helps you to define it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen now. Let's see. There we go. I mean, and there is a girl and there is a boy. So in this worksheet, you can decide to do whichever or do them both if you want. It's less important than what's going to go on this sheet.
Yeah. So a few things is, so I know that you guys, and I went through the last show that you all did, and you guys were talking about attracting the perfect match. But what do you do now that you've found them? And we find that this happens a lot. So people take a lot of time thinking about who their perfect audience person is, right? I'm going to go with Muse. I hope you guys are okay with
Yes,
that.
we'll just go with Muse. Same thing.
Because that's like natural to me, but your target audience,
it.
right? Yeah. So, whoever your
Actually,
muse
let's say
is.
the
Yeah.
muse is, we say muse because they also inspire you to
Yes.
do what you do. They inspire you to be so good at what you do. So
Exactly.
it's not just that you're good for them, but they're good for you.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we call it your muse. So when you find your muse, we find that a lot of people focus so much on figuring out who that person is. And that is very important, obviously. But then they get out in front of them and they are, doing the messaging, they're running the ads, they're writing the copy, and they don't understand why it isn't working. And look, we've gone through the same thing in our business as well. That's how we came at this. And that's why we can speak to you on this, because we understand the pain of being like, I know you're perfect for me, so why won't you come? Like, why don't you want to participate? And now we're at the point where we're like, okay, let's show people what we've learned. So when we look at this, I understand that last week you guys went, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, you guys went through it, and you guys really went through some of the greatest desires, right? What do they really want? And then you also went through some of the pain points. What are their fears? And this is typically where people go when they start talking about their ICA. Okay. So I'm trying really hard to help you guys with that. Okay. But let's go into some of the other things that really, this makes the difference between speaking at your audience to them feeling like you're speaking with your audience, right? And nobody ever intends to speak at them, but sometimes that's how it can come across. It can feel a little bit disconnected. And so we want there to be a connection to really help that audience understand that where they're coming from and that you really do have a solution that they want. So with that said, let us start really from the beginning, okay? And something that we were going to tell you guys, we talked about this, is that, we've run ads to people that match the muse, and yet it doesn't convert. Yes. And this is really the difference maker for us. Okay. So when we look at this, let's look at the first part. Let's look at what we think they need. Okay. Now, whether or not you are actually engaging with your target audience at the moment, it's okay. You're going to fill out this sheet. You can take a notepad. You can have the sheet. We're going to send you a link. It's free. But what we want you to do is write what you think they need. Now,
I was joking around about doing it in pencil because it's surprising how much you don't know what your audience actually needs. So this is an assumption.
Yeah, this is an assumption. Okay. And so what do they think they need? So think of that, right? So, I know that Tessa talked to you all a couple of weeks ago about problem aware versus solution aware, but through that, people will start to self-diagnose. So what is it? Like, I'm just grumpy all the time. Okay, what could it be? I'm going to look on Google and it's going to tell me. I'm like, okay, that's the one. That's self-diagnosing, right? It's the same thing for your product, whatever that looks like. If you are somebody who sells, natural soaps or lotions or something like that, what do you think that they think they need? So somebody who comes into your world, are they thinking to themselves, I need something that will help me with my BO, right? And I want it to be natural, right? And so they're going to think in their minds, okay, I need to find a crystal, or I need to find this perfect solution here, or this thing here. And so what you're writing in this is what they think they need. Now, sometimes, and probably I'd say 50% of the time, people do self-diagnose correctly. So when that's the case, your job then is really to be the solution for them, right? So did you want to add anything? Because I don't want to just
keep no, I was just going to say too that sometimes, we might be thinking that they need this lotion because they want to be all organic, right? So let's say it's an organic product. We think they just want to be chemical free. But really, they don't want the allergic reaction that they're getting to harsh soaps or chemicals. So that's where I want to kind of get your guys' minds in thinking what it is that they need, and then realizing that as you talk to them and you engage with them and you research them, that what you think they need will evolve.
Yeah. So let me give you guys an example. I think that always helps, right? So our audience typically struggles with building their follower account. So they think that they need to go out and start posting content. So our job is to show them that there are better ways to grow their audience or to show them that we are the ones that can help them with this. Right? So that's our job, but we have to figure out what they think they need. They're self-diagnosing. So what are they telling themselves that they need? Now let's look at the beliefs to overcome. This is about what beliefs might be holding them back from taking that next step with you, right? And it may not be you. It just might be, okay, I don't want to pay for a coaching program in general, right?
Well,
So
I mean, that's a
what is
big
it
one.
that they believe?
Like
Yeah.
money side. So belief, I can't afford that. I can't afford a marketing company. I can't afford a coach. So the belief to overcome is that it doesn't have to be expensive.
Right.
Well, at least not on our program.
Right. So depending on what it is you're doing, right? What is the belief that you need to help them overcome before they'll even consider purchasing from you, right? And these are a lot of things that you could be doing in every day, right? If you're posting your content in your sales, but really we want to prime them first and then you have the sales. So think about it that way. When you're posting your content on LinkedIn, on Facebook, whatever it is you're doing, what are those beliefs that they need to overcome in order to even get into the mind frame to want to buy, in order to even look for you as the solution? Those are the beliefs. So here's another example. They believe they don't need help. This was me in the beginning. I worked for corporate. I ran blah, blah, blah. Whatever my thinking was, I thought I could do it by myself, right? I can DIY it. And so they believe they don't need help. They can DIY it via Google or a YouTube search or whatever it is. So now what is our job? Our job is to speak to this belief that they have and help them to overcome that belief. Right? It might be true that they don't need us. Yeah, you could definitely go onto YouTube. You can watch all the videos. It'll take you longer, but you can do it, right? They might go onto YouTube and watch how they can make their own deodorant. It may take them a lot of money figuring it out, buying the wrong oils, soaps, whatever, but they can do it. So it's not that their beliefs are wrong, but you're helping them to see some of the flaws in those beliefs, right? And if they have the time, hey, good for you. Take your time, DIY. You're going to learn a lot that way. But if you don't have the time and you want to speed up the process, our job is to then show them that, hey, we can help you do that.
And
so
I think, and then
making sense.
Yes. Oh no, that's perfect. So for sure, we've got what we think they need, beliefs to overcome. And when we say think that they need, we really want what they actually think, not us. They think they need, not us. But in the beginning, you're writing your assumption down. And then I just want to touch back on the greatest desires. Helps if I don't tongue tie. But we touched on it on the previous show. If you didn't watch it, this is one of the biggest things that Kai has helped me to realize in doing content for websites is that I've lived in the pain, fear area in marketing for a really long time as one of the most common ways that people say, what's the problem? What's the solution? Right. But what I love about Kai and what her messaging and the way that it comes across is that we're actually looking at that desire and the outcome and what's coming in a couple of minutes here. But what is that vision that they're actually thriving to achieve? And Kai, can you explain a little bit, because your version's much better than mine was from last week, on the greatest desires and really that picture and how this kind of changes the way that our marketing is going to reach people.
For sure. So when we look at greatest desires, I know you guys kind of covered this, but let's kind of dig into it just a little bit more when we think about this, because I made this mistake 1,000 times, right? So what we usually think it is that it's this specific service or product, right? So for example, we think that somebody's greatest desire is to get help in their business, right? They want it to be easier for them. And these are wants. Okay, so let's not discount that. They are wants. They might even want that natural product, that chemical-free stuff. They want that app that you have or that product you're selling, but that's not their greatest desire. I don't think there's anybody that I've ever worked with who's like, man, I really want a business coach to tell me what I'm doing wrong in my life so I can second guess myself. But eventually I know I'll feel better and I'll understand how to run my business. Nobody thinks that to themselves. They're not thinking that's my greatest desire, right? Nobody's thinking, man, the greatest desire I have in life is to get chemical-free, fill in the blank.
Right.
That's not it. So what is the greatest desire? The greatest desire for somebody who's looking for a chemical free, maybe it's that they want to, have a really clean household. Maybe they have a kid who is in a lot of pain from some of the stuff that they've been using, and they're looking for a solution. So their greatest desire is to help their kid. Maybe their greatest desire when they're looking for a coach or a marketer or whatever it is that they want to be able to walk away from a job that doesn't serve them anymore, that doesn't make them happy. And that's their greatest desire, is to have the choice to do that, right? So understand that there's a difference between what they want. So you might be in the want area, like, yeah, I kind of want this. I think that'd be great. I'd love to get a coach. I'd love to buy this product, but you're not their greatest desire. Okay. And their greatest desire, it's about them. It's not about
always about them. And so the messaging takes a shift, and it speaks to them way more than you can write. And I guess if you're focused on you, it will never resonate with your audience. So you have to be speaking from this greatest desire point of view to be able to have that resonate. And then the pain points and fears are still there. They still come in, and they're still a very effective marketing method. You can sprinkle them into the content. You'll see that a lot in Facebook ads. I'm sure you guys have seen the long posts with bullet points, and that's really touching on some of the pain points and what you don't want to have, or it's touching on what you do want to have. But they're still there. They're in the writing. It's just, we want to help them picture where they want to get to, and that in that we want to bridge the gap, right? From what Pain Island to Pleasure Island kind of thing.
Good job, Tessa. Good job. Yeah.
Remember, see? But this is a little bit of the life before and life after you too. And I think I've never had this in one of my marketing, kind of personas. This is not something that people usually cover. And so if you want to dive into that, we can go through
this is
it.
The last piece of it, right? And then we'll kind of bring it all together so you understand how to use all of this in your messaging and copy. So life before you and life after you. Really what I want you all to focus on here is, what does, this is really about connecting with your audience, and it forms the stories that you tell. Right. So we just went through a branding boot camp. Some of you on here were with us, and thank you for.
I know we have Mary and we have Katie. You guys this look familiar.
Yes. But and these are some of the things that were in that boot camp that we went over. But everything on this sheet will help you define what to talk about and make your efforts more effective. Okay. And so when we look at life before you, here's where I really want to help you decide what this, or distinguish, right, is when we talk about life before you, sometimes this can really look a lot to people like fear and pain points. So they might say, okay, life before me was that, I was, afraid to sell online, right? I was afraid of this. So that is really more of the pain points and the fear that they're going through. The life before you is tangible. So I really need you guys to understand this. When I say tangible, I mean, like, what is the actual experience in their everyday life that they are going through? Okay. So let me give you all an example. Think about, like somebody who, and sorry, I am a business coach, so that's just where my mind goes. So I have a client, and one of her greatest stressors is that she can never get enough employees, right? So life before me, right, if I were to look for something that's tangible, would be that she is always putting up a new job posting on whatever it is. Right? For her, that's a very tangible. She can relate to that. Oh my gosh, yes, I do that. When you tell somebody, you're afraid of this, yeah, maybe not. But a lot of us don't really want to acknowledge that. We don't want to live in that fear, even though we feel it. So when you can relate to it in a very tangible way, it changes the story, and it changes how somebody relates to you. Okay. So, another example might be, the mom who she can't control her kids. For her, life before you, if you're a parenting coach or something, might be that, she is constantly screaming at her kids. She's constantly pulling herself away because she's frustrated and doesn't want to explode. Like, it's a very tangible thing that's happening in her life. And that is so important to get. And of course, maybe you don't know your audience yet. So you're guessing, and that is okay. And we'll show you why after. Now, the same thing is true with the life after you. Right? What are the tangible results that they can expect? And also here, you're not just going to do tangible results, although that's what people want, but also what is the promise that you are making? And make sure that you're able to follow through on that promise. So don't be telling people, you're going to have a buttload of money and you're going to be a millionaire after we're done if you cannot deliver that result.
Right.
Make sure
and I'm like,
it works. It's in law.
Absolutely. Please don't say you can do that if you can't. And I like these two. I think of it as if you were like looking in the window of their life and you're seeing what they're experiencing. That's kind of what these two are. It's like if you were to see it, what would be the scenario? So life after you, this is actually used in our marketing materials, the imagery that we choose. I mean, there's a whole nother part to everything that we're covering here. And that's from a branding perspective, how everything kind of comes together. But what does that look like to them after they have you, and what would you see in their life that's changed? And I love this one because this is how you make an impact and how they inspire you too. So it goes back to that muse piece of what is it that you want? What kind of impact do you want to make in the lives of other people? I mean, I know in our business, we want to, positively support people's businesses and help them to be successful and make an impact in their communities and their families. Like that's what we want to do. And recently it's been only females, but we are actually contemplating. We had enough guys that are like, come on, Tessa, you need to have a version of your program that everyone can do. So we are talking about a co-ed version too that we would introduce. But that's what we want to do is impact people and have them. We're improving their lives. So that section of life after you has to resonate with you. And that's really what drives you. It's kind of your why. So you're going to see your why over in that space, because that's what you want to see them accomplish.
And thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that.
Oh,
it's been a long time since I've been live, so I really appreciate that she enjoyed today's show. But let's just kind of summarize all of this for you and how you're going to use it. Okay, so you're going to get, if you guys can go, and I'm sure Tessa.
Yes, I have the link, and we'll put it in again. Okay. So that's the Muse. It's just movetoceo.com/muse. I'll put it on the.
And you guys can go there. You can download it. And if you're interested in one of our programs, whether you're male or female, there will be a little checkbox so that you can let us know. And let us know because, we have a lot of guys who are asking, but do we have enough? That's really the question.
We have to see if we have enough.
So just let us know if you're interested. You're not gonna, you're not paying for anything. Okay. So this is just all free. But how it all comes together, right, is when you're writing your copy, when you are thinking about your brand expression, your brand's personality, so to speak, all of that comes from this. So let's say that what Tessa was talking about, she was talking about life after you.
Oh, yes. I'll put it
no, you don't need to share it. But you're talking about branding, right? And so when you think of life after you, this really talks to the person or the life that they want to have. So think about when you're like scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is, and you stop to look at a photo, and that photo is of somebody, on vacation in some beautiful place, or they have this amazing car or this great house. All of those are goals that are aspirational. Whether that resonates with you or not, there is something that you're watching. You watch the homesteaders because you're like, oh, that's so cool. You're watching, the people who do traveling for a living, and you're like, man, that's amazing. These are your aspirations. And they might not be, but you have an aspiration, correct? Your audience has an aspiration, and you are a part of fulfilling what that is, but you need to show them that. So you can't just come, and for years I did this. I would just come and be like, well, of course you need business coaching. I mean, don't you want to make money? Don't you want it to be easier? And I wouldn't understand, like some people, yeah. I mean, that was enough for them to be like, okay. And they knew me well enough to be like, yeah, sure. But other people just, It didn't resonate. And it's because I didn't know how to paint this picture for them. So how you use this is when you're creating your content, you're batching content, you're thinking about the ideas, go to this sheet and think about, how do I talk about these things? How do I address the beliefs to overcome? Can I do a list? And it could be something so simple like, hey, here are like 3 things that a lot of people believe that
myths. Busting myths is the beliefs to overcome. So you could do a post on, commonly this is what people think, and or even thought reversal, right? Say the opposite of what they are saying, like flat out statement on it. And that actually gets people's attention too. But all of these are the stories that we tell. We just went through, I know Kai mentioned it, a branding boot camp, which was super helpful even to me, and I was in it, but it helps to go through and really figure out how each one of these, 4 quadrants basically that we covered are going to actually create the messaging, the stories, the social media posts, the videos, the content that you produce. And I am going to have Kai back for another one on another show on that, just to go and elaborate more on the branding, because IdeaPros, I know we have a lot of IdeaPros partners over here. Just give me a high five, little wave over there if you are an IdeaPros partner. But we give partners like a beautiful logo and brand book and everything, but then really once you launch, it's you do your marketing. And so what I love about having brand boot camp is that, hey, we're going to look at what do you do once you have this logo and the colors? How do you really take that and turn that into social media posts? And Try Grunt is awesome. They've got some amazing posts. So you can go check out Try Grunt, who's on our feed here, for examples of posts that are totally on brand. But there's stories behind every one of those posts. But I know, Kai, we're running out of time. I just hate to do this. No, I feel like I could take Kai. We actually mentioned this. We're like, really, it's a half hour. Like, we could go hours on marketing and have no problem. So guys in the chat, let me know. Give me a high five or a little thumbs up if you think that today, yes, Kyle's got an app. Yes. Give me a thumbs up. Hey, Jane, good to see you. If you felt like this was helpful, and go grab the sheet over at movetoceo.com/news.
I agree, Odin.
Yeah, right? Thanks, Odin. Yeah, actually, no, I agree. Odin was my marketing coach. Kai's a business coach. Like, I cannot live without them. My business quadrupled with the coach, quadrupled. And so if you are even remotely thinking you need a coach, you do. Everyone should have one. So guys, check out, if you haven't followed us to Move to CEO is on Instagram, well, more prominently on Instagram right now. So you can go check out Move to CEO on Instagram. Follow us over there for more tips and just tons and tons of information. And you can also check out, we have a free mastermind. If you go grab the sheets, you can try out one of our free masterminds. So you can see what it's like and see if you love it, which we know you will. But this is what we do day in, day out, guys. If you have any questions about marketing, throw them in the chat, and then I can have Kai back for a question and answer on marketing soon. Thank you so much, Kai. We appreciate all your knowledge.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you again soon. All right. Well, guys, if you haven't already followed our page, please click the bell to get reminders. We also have a link in the chat for you to get notifications if you want to get texts and emails. And we also have a form where you can fill that out directly in the chat if you have any questions. Oh, hey, Dr. Clarice, thank you. Yes, my birthday is coming up, and I'm still 28 for like the, 18th time. I don't know. But it's wonderful to have you guys here every single week. I appreciate you. I just wanted to go back. I know we said hi to a bunch of people in the beginning, but we also have Chris and Sarah, Vanessa. Oh, yes, Get Swizzy. And then I'll also put up Sage Scheduler. If you do have one of your links and you want me to pop it in, I'm so proud of our partners. Actually, we had Caddy on last week, and he has a golf product that was amazing. I know we have so many people. Jane, great to see you. Mary and Katie are in our Move to CEO program. It's a 7-month program where we go through all of the basics that you need to really learn about marketing and to be able to market your business. outside of IdeaPros. You get the basics. Actually, IdeaPros does a ton for getting your business set up, but then you're set free to go market yourself. And a lot of people have questions about how to do that, how to do their content, how to create sales funnels, how to do, even set up a sales process. So check out Move to CEO if you guys have a chance. And we'll see you all next week. Happy Valentine's Day early. Love you all of you entrepreneurs. And we'll see you. Bye.